Hey folks, here's a quick video I'm gonna do, or may not be quick, but about take Young Turks, and it's about Jake Uger. He's gonna explain. He's doing his book tour, and they asked him a couple of questions. He's in New York, I think. Event in New York, book signing, and he's explaining to. This is the bonus episode. He's explaining to the audience. It's free, by the way, today. He explained to the audience what happened in New York, the book signing, and I thought it went well until this is interesting because he talked about it after. He showed a video, a clip. The guy interviewed him, asked him a question. He talked about it. And he went to Anna Kasparian. And I thought what she thought of it. And it was interesting what she had to say, that really, like, she didn't agree with him. His whole premise there, what he talked about. She wasn't going to say anything, but then afterwards she got into this whole thing. And she did some anecdotal. I'll let this thing. Let the clip play. You'll see, folks.
We just took it. There's not a professional photographer or anything, but it gives you a little bit of sense. So there's a second layer that was packed with people, and so this is a picture taken from there. That's Colby Hall from Mediaite, who asked me the original set of questions, and then we did a long Q&A with the audience. I'm going to share a question he asked and my answer in a second. So that's us over there, and then, by the way, people would come by that window and recognize me and be like, "Hey, Jake," from the window from the outside. Okay, show that the next picture. So gives you a rough sense, like that's people. This first layer, second layer, and they were both packed, right? And then one more for now. And so then we had a line of about over 200 people, and I stayed inside everybody's book, and I talked to everybody, and that's part of what I want to talk to you guys about today in a sec. And I'll show you some other cute pictures of like kids and stuff that came by.
I'm going to eat it.
But first we're going to show you one of the questions and answers. A little bit long as in like 4 minutes, but that's good. At least gives you a sense of how the night went. Okay, so let's watch that.
There seems to be, and maybe this is naive, but something brewing in the zeitgeist of, people are tired of the division. And there is a sort of a desire to sort of, maybe try to figure out what we have in common. And you and I have talked about this a few times, that, apart from the xenophobic and really ugly sides of MAGA, there are parts of the MAGA side that aren't too dissimilar in its DNA to, say, Bernie supporters. And, if those two ends of the circle could just stop turning their backs on one another and could see that, like, the power of that group of people could really be very, very powerful and disruptive. How do you envision that sort of thing happen? Taking away Trump, taking away the obvious, like, really horrible, angry, ugly stuff of MAGA. How do we transcend? What's the transcendent moment that can bring that about?
So let me address the phenomenon first. I feel like Young Turks is the only outlet that is doing what I'm about to describe, which is saying, guys, we can do both. On social issues, we can tear each other apart, and we should. And because I'm not going to ever lay down. If you like, so for example, MAGA will say, why don't you just come to our side? We're actually populist or whatever. I'm like, guys, Trump said I'm going to ban all Muslims from the country. My family's Muslim. So do you want me to agree to get banned? Like do you not get that that's insane? No, I'm not going to agree to my own banishment.
Right.
And I'm not going to agree to let you guys steamroll gay people in this country, trans people in this country, black people in this country, etc. I'm not going to allow it. I'm going to fight you as hard as I possibly can. And now.
Well, that's good to hear. But you're about to see, folks. You're about to see their co-host whatever, the producer doesn't agree with him. As you will see, folks.
And now there's a cottage industry of fake left, the Tulsi Gabbards, Glenn Greenwalds, etc., that say, oh, no, the right is great, the right is...
Left. Yeah, they're not leftists, I guess. Glenn Greenwald, and you know he has good takes though, but he's not a leftist. Yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, no way.
It's great. And the real problem is Democrats. I'm like, brothers, okay, your critique of the Democratic Party is fine, but how about the critique of the Republican Party? Like, we can't find one. Get out of here. Get out of here. That's not authentic. That's insane, right? Now, at the same time, you could then say, yes, but how about paid family leave? Because do you want moms to have 12 weeks off after they deliver a baby? That's their pro-mother, pro-baby. You guys want more babies, right? The Republicans love babies. They love mothers. They're supposed to.
I love babies also.
Yes. I love babies. Okay. So, can we agree on paid family leave? I know the polling. I already know the answer. So, 84% of Americans are in favor of paid family leave. 74% of Republicans are in favor of paid family leave. I go on Patrick Bet-David's podcast. He's a right-winger. They polled their audience. Guess what percentage said, yes, we want paid family leave? 75%. Okay? So, while I'm kicking your ass on your bigotry and you're kicking my ass on being Muslim and you think that's like such a great thing, right? I'm an atheist now, but I grew up Muslim, etc. Can we go, like, stop the fight for 1 second and let's pass paid family leave for all moms?
Right.
Right? And then let's get back to fighting. We don't have to be dishonest. We don't have to be dishonest and we don't have to stop fighting. But that doesn't mean we can't.
Actually, yeah, they got the disagreements. Exactly.
Agree on the things we already agree on. So the point of media is to rip you apart. They're trying to get you to fight and never find common ground. I don't. Does anyone think that I mind the fight? Right? No, I love the fight. I got no problem with the fight. But let's pass paid family leave. Let's end money in politics. Republicans hate money in politics. So, I mean, that's what's in the book, which is, and, chapter 3, I explain why Republicans suck, and as Curtis Review said, I, give them a shellacking. But then I explain in the rest of the book also, at the same time, that yes, and you saw me today if you watched the show today. I mean, furious at Republicans, including Republican voters, and I talk about that in the book too. But at the end of the day, there are a ton of things we agree on, and that's never discussed in the media. And the right-wing media doesn't say it. Let's be honest, left-wing media doesn't say it.
You're wrong too. They do say it. Some of the left do agree. I think they try to get together. I think what's her name? Bree has some people on her show and that she don't agree with. I mean, and you look at Due Dissidents, and somebody their audience are conservative voters. Some of these their audience are, and they agree on some stuff. They talk about some. I mean, I think you're wrong there, Cenk. Maybe some of the other stations, some of the other left stations is right. They don't, but the others they do talk about being getting together, agreeing on the same things.
Media doesn't say it. We're just about the only show, and then in the book I say it. Yeah, there's
not true, buddy. You're not true.
Ton of stuff we agree on. Why don't we do the things we agree on? Because corporations don't want those things. The only people who disagree are the corporations, and so that's why that's why I keep mentioning chapter 4, because I'm so proud of explaining to folks how we lost the Democratic Party, how we lost democracy, and that we actually live under corporate rule. It's like if you just hear that sentence, you might think, oh, well, that sounds like an exaggeration or hyperbole or something. No, I show case by case exact receipts on how we lost, how they planned it, how they executed it, and how they won. All the way from the original memo through the Supreme Court decisions to the Democratic leadership decisions. And with quotes where the Democratic leaders say,
yeah, I turned and started serving business interests. And we think it's smart politics to serve business interests. So, all right, let me pause there. Anna, any thoughts on that
This is what. Okay, folks, this is how it gets interesting. Oh Lord.
section?
No,
Nope.
I don't. I don't have
She
it.
don't.
I mean, I do, but I don't.
She says maybe you shouldn't say nothing, Anna. You should not have said anything.
Okay, gotcha. That means you don't want to say it.
Okay.
Okay, maybe we'll come back to it.
I
Yeah.
just look. We've been over this. I think that
Oh, brother.
you have this itch to fight, right? And I think that I hear what you're saying about wanting to fight back against the bigotry, right? But I think that sometimes the way that you communicate within that fight accuses people who don't really fall under that category of being part of the bad guys who have bought into the bigotry and stuff. I think that
Really? I don't think he's accusing people of doing that. I don't think Cenk is doing that. And accuses people of being, well, some people okay, there are some people who are just ignorant. Maybe they have to be educated, they don't understand. I understand that. Like there's some people who are, they're racism, they're just ignorant, they don't know. So you're right, you can give them a pass. But a lot of people who love this racism, they're just hateful. They don't like they don't like a particular group. They don't really like, that's what it is. You can say 10% of them they are ignorant, they don't know. So that's what I give. So I do that too. I give people a pass. Certain white folks, I might give a pass. If they're just ignorant, they don't know. Some of them are older, right? They're just ignorant, they don't know. But some of them are like even the younger crowd, and some of the bigotry and the racist and xenophobic, and they know, and they're ignorant. They're not they're not ignorant. They know, and they just it's willfully they're hateful. It's full of hate, and she's gonna say it's the media's fault, or it's the media.
it's the situation's just a lot more complicated than that. And the way that I've been thinking about all of this is how do we bring more people in rather than repel people from what we're trying to accomplish, right? And so the messaging, I think we need to be a little more careful with, so we don't make people who do not subscribe to the bigotry feel as though we're accusing them of engaging in bigotry.
Lord, so who? My God. So don't call people out, I guess. I mean, people have to be called out who are doing this, who are racist. Sorry, I think Cenk's right. So you could be careful, but she doesn't want it. She doesn't like that totally. She doesn't like. It was up to her. She would avoid the bigotry, the what do you call, like social justice stuff like this, and the big racism and xenophobia. It was up to anti-black racism particularly. She would like to call it out. I mean, she like to get rid of it, not don't cover it. To me, anyways, that's what I think.
You hear what I'm saying?
I do, but so it's that one's super complicated. We've talked about it a little bit in the past, but it's good to talk about here. And by the way, we'll take your comments too on your thoughts on all of this. But
and look, the one, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No,
but
it's
like
okay.
the one other thing that part of the change that I've experienced over the last, I don't know, year, 2 years is coming to the realization that a lot of the stories that scared me about the bigotry in the country, right? Like the very specific anecdotes and stories that have been reported in the media were either embellished, exaggerated, actually completely unfounded, all sorts of crazy hoaxes.
Remember those cop stories that are embellished, I guess. The cops beating up black people. That's embellished, or really?
You know, there's a story we didn't get to today, but I'm definitely going to cover it at some point this week about Ibram X. Kendi's Center for what is it called? It's the Center for Anti-Racist Research, which had received $43 million in grants. And no one knows where that money is. The entire staff has gotten fired, okay? There's no transparency in regard to where that funding went. And
sure, there's a corruption there. There's corruption everywhere. No, there's a lot of they use racism as a tool to get it's like a grift, yeah. I'm sure but it doesn't mean that the whole fight against it is it's corrupted. I mean, the fight against it. The reporting like against racism, like for reporting racism, I mean it's corrupt. It's skewed. She's saying that it's skewed then because of this guy, because of this goof, whatever. The whole thing is skewed. The reporting on him. The whole media's reported on the certain things like this, racism, acts of racism and police brutality and everything. Its whole thing is skewed because of this. And because of Black Lives Matter, I guess. There's a scandal there.
And it's just, I think a lot of people see how potentially, I don't know for sure in this case, I think there needs to be a full investigation, how certain people have used this narrative of racism in order to profit from it and to exploit it for their own benefit and enrichment, right?
So what we took.
Well, that's race baiting. But there's race baiting on both sides. So she's saying that it's race baiting in a way. I'm sure she's saying, well, it's race baiting on the other side. Like white people do it too, the race baiting. And they use race baiting as to reverse racism. They use it. That's what they use it. It's on the other side too. I mean, they use it too. And the right-wing media does it too. They race bait. I mean.
Do here is we talk about all the different nuances, because that one has a lot of nuance.
It does, yep.
So, first of all, that story we'll do on another day so you get the full sense of it. But is it true that some people took advantage of the racism that actually exists to profit off of pretending to fight back against it? Unfortunately, yes, it has happened a number of times, okay? So there was devastating articles about Black Lives Matter leadership.
Yep, that's definitely definitely there. You're right about that. But it doesn't skew the whole thing though, because a couple of bad actors, that's gonna ruin the. So it's not. I mean, so doesn't racism is not real because of Black Lives Matter scandal and this guy. And right.
As one example, okay, now, and we covered it because we're honest.
Right.
But having said that, it doesn't mean that there isn't racism and bigotry.
There is.
There is.
Yeah.
But I have to be honest, given all of the lies that I've realized the media has been telling about it, I don't know the extent to which it does exist. I'm not saying it doesn't. But sometimes I worry that the media, in an effort to sell papers and in an effort to get eyeballs watching their program...
Well, there's sensational sensationalism there in the media. But they do it for every story. Everything is sensationalized nowadays. You should know that, Anna.
Intentionally sensationalize and exaggerate the extent to which it exists in American society. It leads to more division. It leads to more people hating each other and being paranoid about various groups of people. I think
black people.
It's sick. And so I hate that this is happening, and I hate that I've come to this realization, and it's based on actual evidence and in-depth reporting on it, because I don't know what to believe, because I don't trust the media.
I don't believe that. I like to hear your in-depth reporting, really. I like to see that. If it's really, or she's just talking bullshit. Really.
Media. You get what I'm saying?
I do, but again, both things can be true at the same time. Let me give you an example of what I mentioned on Karen Hunter's show. She's on SiriusXM Urban View. Rashad Rushiar, one of our hosts,
I know Karen Hunter. I've seen her show a little bit.
also on it. And Karen, I think, would admit that she's more of a establishment or mainstream Democrat. Like, she's one of the people, when I say Nina Turner, she is repelled by it. Okay, and so we don't have to hate each other,
Yeah.
etc. And Karen's, of course, an African American woman, and so we get difference of opinion, but she, of course, she's deeply concerned about racism. I'm deeply concerned about racism, and in the midst of that conversation that we were having, I said, "But wait a minute, guys, you can't attribute the whole MAGA thing to racism, because, and this is true, you can look it up. Obama, after he won his first election." His poll numbers, which it feels impossible to believe at this point, was at a stunning 83% approval. 83.
I'll go back to, you said 80%. You can't contribute to racism. Yeah, you contributed it to, like I said before, I think I said like 30% of them, at least 40% of it is because of 40% of that, the MAGAs. See, they're racist and xenophobic or whatever. And you got maybe 10% of them is an actual 10 or 15 are actually normal people, like down to like middle class, working class, and they're struggling. That's like the rest of us. But most of it's culture wars. That's what I think. I disagree.
3%. So obviously, a giant chunk of Republicans and independents had gotten past the racism enough to say, "I really like Barack Obama." Okay, so now, but is that the whole story? No, of course not. I mean, look at the example that I gave there. Did Trump say we should?
The country was different. The country was kind of different back then too. I mean, America was kind of different there. When Trump came in, I think that changed the whole dynamic, and that made it. People like they were like hiding their racism and xenophobic before Trump. When he came out, they didn't hide their racism anymore and his xenophobia.
Stop all Muslims from coming into the country? He did. Did the Republican voters love it? They did.
Yeah.
So both of those things are true, and that's why it's complicated. So, and now you go to the next layer of it. And by the way, as we see, and did they march in Charlottesville saying the Jews will not replace us? They did. Was that the majority of Republicans? No, right? But
you're going against her argument, actually, Cenk. Actually going against her argument, kind of. When you mention all this Charlottesville, there was anti-Semitism there. I mean, and that went up too when Trump came in. And that one, yeah, but there was hidden too, kind of. It was always there, but now it's more. They came out more once he became the president.
But was there enough of them to cause a lot of trouble throughout the country? Yes. You see, all of these things are true at the same time, right? So, look, that leads me to the story that I often tell. This happened twice, and I bet you I can, if I got into a conversation with Republicans who were generally good-natured and I got along with them, it would happen dozens of times, if not hundreds of times. The guy on the plane that we were getting along great, I tell him I'm an atheist. He's like, "Oh, that sucks." I say, "I used to be Muslim." He's like, "Well, okay, that's better that you became an atheist, right?" And the little old lady that we shot the pilot with, she's a Republican. I say I grew up Muslim, but I'm an atheist. Same exact reaction every time, which is, "Oh, that's a shame that you were Muslim." Okay.
I'm just so sick of like the endless obsession over our identities, over our nationalities, over our race. We're freaking Americans, okay?
Yeah.
We're Americans, period.
Yeah.
I'm sick of it. I'm just
Yeah,
sick
we're
of
all
it.
Americans, so why? But there's issues. They're not the same, man. You don't understand. They have issues. It's totally different. They're Americans. They know it. They're proud to be Americans. Black people or any other people. But there's issues. They're being discriminated against. So they should be. They shouldn't. So you should ignore their issues. I mean, that's what you want to do. You want to ignore their issues. They're being discriminated against. They just want to live their lives, but they're being discriminated against and beaten by the cops, stopped by the police. And if you go into a damn store, you get looked at. That happened to fucking me, and I'm swearing. I'm sorry, people. I mean, that doesn't matter to you, I know. I shouldn't have swore, my God. Oh my God. Okay. Well, that doesn't matter to you. So we're all Americans, but America keeps discriminating against them. The government does, and I'm talking about black people, and they're on their fellow Americans. It's discriminated against them. The system is against them. So what do you want them to do? Just ignore it? Ignore the... Well, you could just ignore them, I guess, if you want. But they're going to fight. But Cenk's right. He's going to fight for everybody. Cenk, you have to fight for everybody. That's how you're going to win. You're going to have to fight for everybody. I mean, to get the whole coalition. Remember that guy, RBN's right, the communists. The communists are right. To get everybody, the working class, the racial minorities, everybody up to everybody together against the elites, the ruling class. That's the only way. At least these guys at RBN are right. I mean, these guys are. I mean, even they push back against Jimmy Dore. Even Jimmy Dore is supporting them, but even they push back against him because he believes what Jimmy Dore believes. Actually, you believe what Jimmy Dore believes. And I got triggered, and she's triggered me. That's why. I swear. Oh my God.
Sick of the conversations about it. I'm sick of the controversy surrounding it. I'm sick of the division. I'm sick of the toxicity. I don't care. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care if you're Armenian. I don't care if you're Turkish. We're Americans. Do you love this country or not? That's the real question. Do you love...
So you don't love this country? My God. So if we complain we don't love this country. I'm not in America, but oh my God. If you complain, you mean you don't love this country. Okay.
Love your fellow Americans or not? That's the real question. Because when I see people in this country, I know that you're not supposed to say this. I know that this isn't in vogue with Democrats right now, but I don't see race. I don't see religion. I don't see what your nationality or, your heritage is. I see you as my fellow American who I want to fight for, who I want to fight alongside with. That is...
So you don't see race. You do see race. Come on, Anna. You could see race, but they're Americans too. They're just African Americans or Black Americans or Chinese Americans, Philippines, whatever. Their culture. They're allowed to celebrate. We're allowed to celebrate. Okay, they're allowed to celebrate their culture, but they're Americans. They're proud to be Americans. Well, they're not proud to be Americans, but they call themselves, because they're hyphenated names. Oh my God, the same shit used to be over here. That's still over here in Canada. Is that people are, So if you're not American, if you're hyphenated American or Canadian or whatever, it used to be here. If you're a hyphenated Canadian, you're not Canadian. Because I'm in Canada. So what are you saying? If you're hyphenated American, your name's hyphenated. I mean, you're not hyphen, but you're Black American, Asian American. So you're not American. She just call them. Yeah, they're Americans, but they're allowed to. You could say they're Filipino Americans or Latin American. You know what I mean? When they're not allowed to say that, we can't call us. They can't call themselves that. Like if you're from Nigeria, like families from Nigeria, you said you're Nigerian American, you can call yourself that or whatever. Why are you getting triggered? Oh my God. My God. This is crazy, folks. This crap. This woman's mad. I should laugh at this woman. This woman's crazy.
Actual patriotism to me, okay?
Yeah. So Anna, tell me, like, I know what my reaction
Why is
is,
she getting mad?
but some people think my reaction is wrong. And we got into this side topic. Sorry, I'm going to come back to the viewers, the people that came in a second. But
It's a side note.
like somebody, I told a story the other day, and I laughed about it, about the stories I just told you, and somebody said you shouldn't laugh about it. That's really terrible, right? Yeah, it is terrible, but everybody has a different reaction to it and a different way to solve that problem, right? So Trump told her to see it that way. My guess is her religious leaders her whole life told her to see it that way, and so she views Muslims as bad. There's no question about that, right? Based on her reaction. So
Yeah, you shouldn't laugh at it. That's terrible. You said that's too bad. Why is it too bad? Come on. That's your religion. Well, that's too bad. I mean, I guess you could say that if you was if you're Christian, see, if you said that opposite to them, maybe you could. No, they're going to say that they'll be offended. I mean, oh my God, but that's too bad. She's saying because you're a Muslim, you do what you want. You want to, I mean, whether she's a Christian, I don't know. But that's too bad.
So, okay, I don't hate her for it. And if you're a lefty and you say you should hate her for it, I'm sorry, but
You shouldn't hate her, but you shouldn't pay her. You shouldn't really. I mean, I wouldn't pay her any attention. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, she's bigoted. So why you? I mean, you trying to get people? You trying to see this thing? If you're trying to, we should try to partnership with people on the right who actually like they actually like you. Actually, they don't hate you. Actually, they have a good idea. I think it's a mistake. People like the MAGA like that, you shouldn't partner with, who actually hate you. Why? I mean, she rebuked them. The Bible says rebuke them. People like that. I mean, like there are MAGA out there who are, they don't hate anybody, actually. And that's what you should partner up with, Cenk. Even Anna. But you guys don't really, maybe that's bullshit. You don't really believe what you just saying, they're just saying this. Hey, this is all a grift. Somebody said this is all a grift. I don't know. But you should be mad or disappointed, or you shouldn't really, like, I probably wouldn't say nothing there, really. I wouldn't really bother with it. Okay. That's too bad. Okay. I'll be on your way. Goodbye. I'm not going to talk to you. It's foolishness.
don't. I think she was misinformed, If we had a longer conversation, I think I could talk her out of it. And for a lot of people, I can't talk them out of it.
I don't think so.
But I bet you tons of them would go, "Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that." And, "Oh, you look like a normal person. You look like an American. I'm an American." I bet I could do that. Okay. And I don't have an, but Anna, what do you think we do with that problem? Because it's not like they don't think that, they do think that, right? So, and they is too general, right? So some think this, some think that, some have issues with this race or that religion, but we can't ignore it, but we can't do endless fighting. So it leaves us in a near impossible situation. So I get the most angry at the people driving it, whether it's Trump, right-wing media, it's mainstream media, etc. But with the Republican voters who think those things, I'm in a conundrum. I don't know what to do with them.
I think, look, you're
See,
not
you
really-
don't go after those people. You don't ignore them. You go to the ones that I don't think that. You go to the MAGAs out there who don't think that. 'Cause not all of them are like that. Quite a few of them, but not all of them. So you go to try to pull over those voters for that reason, on that side. I mean, pull over, like, who agree, who don't think that way. And quite a few of them don't. And you could convince them. Like, they're not xenophobic, they're not racist. There's regular working class people who who hate the elites, who hates the establishment, and want a better way of life. And they feel in the crunch like other people on the others, all over, like on the left and the right. Other people, they're trying to survive. House prices, gas prices, and food. And you get people who don't think like that. That's who you get. You get people like that who are on their side. People who just want to do that, you can't deal with that. You just leave them alone. Don't deal with them. Don't deal with people like that. Just want to do race, like, hate people. I mean, come on. You don't deal with people like that. I wouldn't. You shouldn't deal with people like that. Deal with people like that, Cenk. And Anna's really she really gets triggered by these culture wars or whatever you call it.
Able to convince everyone, but I think it's important to understand, even when you vehemently disagree with people, where they're coming from, what motivates them, and what drives them. And I genuinely believe that people are motivated based on what their moral foundations are. And the left and right both have different moral foundations. When it comes to the right wing and the left wing, though, the one moral foundation that they do share is fairness. So appeal to their desire for fairness. Is it fair to treat one group of your fellow Americans differently from every other American? How do you have a united country that is successful and thriving when you treat certain groups of people unfairly, right? Like look, for the longest time, I think that our strategy, and it was like, we unwittingly engaged in this. We never had a conversation about, like, what's the best strategy, right? I think this is the first time we've ever actually really tried to address it and think about it more critically. But you and I both have this urge to fight. And so as a result, we get into, like, these passionate arguments on the show. And in the context of those very passionate, off the cuff, rants in a lot of cases, we end up saying things that group the entire Republican voter base as racist, as bigots, and I just don't think that's true. Every single person watching the show right now has a Republican in their family, has a loved one in their family, or maybe even friends that vote Republican. Do you really think that they're all rabid racists that want to destroy the country and, like, burn?
But no one is saying that, man. Who the hell is saying that?
Muslims alive? Like, just genuinely, really think about it. It's really easy to visualize it
I'm
that
gonna
way.
go back. She said, what did she meant by this? You don't treat
When
her.
it comes to the right wing and the left wing, though, the one moral foundation that they do share is fairness. So appeal to their desire for fairness. Is it fair to treat one group of your fellow Americans differently from every other American? How do you have a united country that is successful and thriving when you treat certain groups of people unfairly, right? Like,
Oh, I thought she's making it. I don't know what she meant by that. She's saying that, are they treating minorities? Like, are we treating unfairly? I'm thinking, okay, so we treating, okay, she's saying we treating the MAGA unfairly. That's what she's saying. Okay, I understand now. I'm thinking something else.
like, look, for the longest time, I think that our strategy, and it was like we unwittingly engaged in this. Like, we never had a conversation about, like, what's the best strategy, right? I think this is the first time we've ever actually really tried to address it and think about it more critically. But you and I both have this urge to fight. And so as a result, we get into like these passionate arguments on the show. And in the context of those very passionate, off the cuff, rants in a lot of cases, we end up saying things that group the entire Republican voter base as racist, as bigots. And I just don't think that's true. Every single person watching the show right now has a Republican in their family, has a loved one in their family, or maybe even friends that vote Republican. Do you really think that they're all rabid racists that want to destroy the country and burn Muslims alive?
They are no, they're the party's racist, okay? The party is a white racist party, and there's a media is racist. The right wing media is a racist. First of all, second of all, and no, the voters they're racist, but not all of them are racist. It's obvious, but they listen to the right wing media, which is racist, and they're in a white racist party. The GOP is a white racist party. This was before Trump, folks. Before Trump. Now it's even gotten more bad when Trump came in. But no, not the most. Some of them are racist, but not all of them. Cenk's not saying all of them either.
Live, like, just genuinely, really think about it. It's really easy to visualize it that way when you're thinking about people who aren't close to you, but think about people close to you. I guarantee you have family members and loved ones who vote differently from you. And do you feel comfortable grouping them in with this, idea or this vision of like what the average Trump voter is?
Yeah, but you see, that one's also nuanced because I hear you, and that's definitely true. My uncle voted for Trump, and he's a Muslim, right? So
exactly.
At the same, and I know tons of good people who are Republicans, etc. At the same time, if you ask the Republican voters in a poll, should we ban Muslims from the country? You know what they?
Wow.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't above 60% that said yes.
All right. Okay.
Wow. You really Cenk believes that? See, there's something personal going on here, folks. He brought up Muslim. See, maybe he's being discriminated against. And she doesn't believe him. Oh, Lord. See, why is he bringing up Muslim? I don't know about now. You think they take a poll now? Maybe. Should they ban Muslim? He might be right. I don't know. Or it could be 50%. I mean, this is an interesting conversation, folks. See, he's a minority. He knows how it feels. See? although he said he was never discriminated against. Well, he's never really in school, when he went to school. But I guess when he became a he went to he went to the media, I guess, and became he was a lawyer. Then became he went into the media business, and he ran for office, California. He became he was discriminated against. See, and people think he's a Muslim sometimes. He mentioned that. It's interesting. He said he wasn't discriminated when he was in school. That's interesting. But I guess people think he's a Muslim, so he's being discriminated. Maybe he discriminated against daily or something, right? Cause why is he bringing that up, right? See, he brings that up, kind of. So it's kind of personal with him. I think it's this. See, it's personal with him. See, and she's a white privileged person here, a white girl. Oh, okay, now I shouldn't say girl, a woman.
Do you disagree?
Let's just keep doing what we're doing then. Let's just keep doing it. I mean, I don't.
She's white privilege. Yeah, let's keep doing what we're doing. Oh my God. Oh, I guess she don't care. Maybe she wants. Well, you know what I think is gonna happen, folks? I'll make a prediction.
Oh no. I mean, look, to be honest with you, people will respond to polls in crazy ways, and I don't even know what I think that there's probably around 30% of Republican voters who have totally bought into some of the most toxic garbage that Donald Trump unfortunately sells, okay, to them. But I don't think that they're indicative of the entirety of the Republican Party. And when we address Republican voters, I think it's wrong to lump them all together as being in favor of that stuff.
Yeah. By the way, though, yes, I agree.
Yeah.
Having said that, they should every once in a while vote in the right direction. And I don't mean vote for Biden, vote for Hillary Clinton. I mean, like, if in a primary, when a guy says terrible things about different races and religions, maybe you vote for the guy who doesn't say that.
Exactly.
I think that's a super fair.
He's not saying all of them are. He's saying a lot of them are. He's not really saying all of them. He's saying is a large he's saying majority in the poll. But I think this is personal with him. So he must be something there. Because why would he bring that up? See, he knows how to be. He's a minority, so he knows how it feels. And she's not. She's a white woman, right? But only thing because she gets triggered with abortion. I mean, that's what she gets triggered off. So that affects her. But the other stuff, it doesn't affect her.
Ask. Now, having said all of this, when I go to do the book signings, one of the best parts of the night was several different people who came up and said, I was a Republican and you guys talked me out of it. I was a libertarian and you talked me out of it. I was, it started out as one guy even said he was an Alex Jones fan. And the YouTube algorithm served him one of our videos. And he's like, haha, let me get a load of these jackasses. And he started listening and watching and go, oh, wait a minute, that's weird. They're actually right? And so Anna's definitely right that if all we do is do our own form of banishment, we banish all the right-wingers and we don't want you, we don't want to talk to you, and we dismiss you, well, then they're not going to have an opportunity.
Oh my God, so it doesn't, but we're not banning them. We just banning some of them that don't go crazy.
Opportunity to change their mind.
It's a losing strategy.
Right. So now...
Why want to change their minds? I mean, the ones that are really, you can't change their minds. People who want to think like that, they're just racist. Straight out anti-black racists. racism there. They're anti-black racists. They don't want to change their minds. You shouldn't try to change. You could try, but good luck to you changing their minds. And it's about the middle class. Middle class. Actually, the working class. There's some of the middle class, white working class, and the middle class, trying to get them who are not MAGA, who don't think like this. That's what it is about. You could try and change your minds, but if you're trying to go by, she's saying that the key to them is changing their minds. So they won't think, but I don't think she really thinks that. She doesn't care about minorities or other groups. That's what I think, folks.
Said that.
Full of shit.
When they go to pass a law against LGBTQ folks, I'm going to fight them. And I'm going to fight them 200%. And politically, rhetorically, I'm going to punch them in the face. And so, I mean that of their political leaders.
Right.
But if you're in favor of that law, brothers and sisters, I'm not going to unilaterally surrender to your bigotry. Sorry, not going to do it.
Exactly, I agree. Exactly, Cenk. There you go.
Okay? So, and it's an unfair ask. It's a super unfair ask to say, oh, I'm going to pass a law against gay people, trans people, etc. in Florida. Now I want you to bow your heads and say yes.
Well, no one here is asking for that, so let's be abundantly clear about it.
No, I'm not saying you. I'm saying the Republicans who say, why don't you just agree with me, right? No, I'm not going to agree with you. No, that's not a fair ask. So, all right. And so, guys, though, one of the reasons we're doing this publicly and talking to you is because I want you to understand that in your own personal life, as much as we get frustrated and as much as we need you to fight back electorally and go canvass and do all these different things so that we win and the good guys win, etc. I also, in your personal lives, be open to people because it turns out, yes, you can convince people, but you've got to have receipts, you got to have facts, you got to be open to them, etc. Right? You got to strike that balance. And as you see in this conversation, the balance is very difficult. Okay?
Yeah, it is difficult.
And so,
and he can't ignore. You can't ignore that. You can't ignore your own though while you're doing this. I mean, you want to abandon your own people, your own leftists, I guess. The marginalized communities, you can't abandon them. So you're right, Cenk. You can't abandon them, but you're trying to be. You should be. So you're saying she should be towards her Anna's side. But I don't think she believes that. She doesn't believe that at all, Cenk. I don't think so.
You know, tons of people look. The number one
fighting and then doing against poor people. Want to lock poor people up, mentally ill, I guess. I want to find that video, but then propaganda. Oh, they mentioned I had a video. They're saying why black people. It's about Biden. I'm gonna do another. Maybe I'll wait till that video comes out. I'm gonna do a take on that.
one thing that people said that I want to emphasize here, I meant to talk about this more than anything else, so now we're at such a limited time, but is hope. That we gave them hope. That you guys watch us in your living rooms, and as people say, we gather the family and we watch you while we're having dinner. Or, we watch you in the living room, the bedroom, wherever they watch, right? Mm-hmm. And we watch together. And there was let me show you some more pictures, because I want to show you some of the people that came, right? And every walk of life, every race, every religion, every ethnicity, you look at the crowd and it was America, right? And every gender identity. There's a gay couple who want.
Yeah, but they don't. What is really America? But she was making us think we're all Americans. Let's remember now. She's saying that we're all Americans. So today, minorities should think like Americans. Minority groups. I guess, forget about their identities and they say they're Americans. But do they think they're Americans? I mean, do other groups, do MAGA think they're Americans? They don't think. I mean, do they think? They think like they think they're American. They're the real. They're the real Americans. These MAGA groups. These white MAGAs. Maybe some black MAGAs too. They think. They think like they're the real Americans. They're in the rural areas, and I mean, in the South. We're the real Americans, and the other Americans are they're not Americans, the elites on the coast. They're the elites, or the leftists, all the elites. So they think the leftists are not. They think the leftists are not the people on the left are not Americans. That's what they think. That's what their thinking is, to me, anyways. These MAGA things. So you're saying that Anna was saying earlier that they're we should, the minority groups should think like Americans, call themselves Americans. Forget about the hyphenage, Latin America, like Latino, Spanish, what you call Latinx American, or I don't know. I mean, Mexican Americans. What do you call it? Mexican Americans, Venezuelan Americans. So take out the hyphenism. How about Italian Americans? It's okay to call them, or they're white, so you could call them Italian Americans. You won't get triggered by that. I guess Anna won't get triggered by that. And I'm going on a rant.
Watches together, right? And then here, there's that kid asked me a great question, and the crowd loved that kid. Okay.
Who did he ask?
He's 9 years old. He asked me, "You say justice is coming, but tell me what justice means to you."
Oh, that is a great question.
Good question.
How's that for a smart kid who's paying attention, etc.?
You know what?
And then his brother also watches, and the whole family came.
Okay, folks, I'm going to end it there. This is a surprise. This is a surprise rant, folks, by Anna Kasparian. And she gets triggered. I don't know why. I think maybe she planned to get triggered, I guess. I don't know. She get triggered by the Cenk saying what he did in the what he said to the guy, the interview about fighting, and she gets triggered. See, folks, she doesn't believe that. Here's my prediction, folks. I think she's gonna leave Young Turks. Yeah, I think they're in a different direction. I think Cenk believes in fighting, like fighting for the groups, minority groups and other. But I don't think she believes that. She gets triggered by that. Why is she getting triggered by that? I think she hates when he does that. I mean, but when he says MAGA, he's saying those who believe that. He's not saying all of them. Those who believe that the racism and xenophobia. But she gets triggered by it. Maybe she's one of them. In fact, folks, I don't know. Maybe she's changed. She's gone more to the right. Some say she's anti-black, anyways. So, and what she's saying about the racism. She doesn't know if it's now. She doesn't know if there's racism. There's a lot of racism. It's just the media concocted all this stuff, sensationalized. You can talk to people Did she talk to any black folks? She should talk to her colleagues there. Any black colleagues. If there's a racism there, talk to them. If it's real or not. Maybe they don't talk. She probably don't talk to them anyways. I don't think she talks to her black colleagues there. I think a lot of people. I know there's a couple of black colleagues who used to work there. he used to like, there's a black producer. He's called The Internet. Jeff, what's his name? Black guy. Jeff the Internet or something. I don't know, I forgot. He used to produce one of the shows. He's gone. He left there. There's another guy. A couple of guys left. He's interested. So I don't know. Maybe because of Anna Kasparian, you wonder. Anyways, folks, I'm out of here. This is a surprise video. I'm out.